What is up, my beautiful people? Hope you're having a great day and managing to stay cool out there. Exile451 here again with your daily dose of Reddit happy. Going back into r/Tales from Retail today for some stories I'm sure you're gonna love. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Now sit back, relax, and let's hear some Tales from Retail. Kid wants to scan his own toy. This happened a few weeks ago, and I just remembered about it, so the details might be a little fuzzy, but I'll write this as best as I can. Despite the title, this is actually a happy story. So, I work at a grocery store that also sells body care and various gifts and toys around the holiday seasons. It was Easter, I believe. Our grocery store closes at 10 o'clock every day, and around 9:30, there aren't a lot of people in the store. This dad comes up with his son around 6 or 7 and starts loading his groceries. He places the toy that is obviously for his son behind another barrier that separates people's groceries. After I had scanned all of the dad's items and he had paid, the son, who was barely able to look over the edge of the counter, asked me very politely if he could scan his toy by himself. There were no customers behind them, and he asked so politely that I was like, screw it, and invited him behind the counter. I told him to step up on the ledge where we put go-backs so he could see better. I showed him how to scan the toy, and after his dad paid for the toy, he left a happy kid. Oh, that is a sweet story, and you're right, that could have gone an entirely different direction, but that kid seemed so polite and nice. That's just heartwarming. Thank you so much for sharing, OP, and thank you so much for giving him that opportunity, that chance to do something even that small that he'll probably remember for years to come, if not for the rest of his life. I'm really glad I got hired here. A quick, good story for a change about a boss who really values his employees. I work at a casual fast food Mexican chain restaurant. I'm sure you can guess. So, at the beginning of my shift today, my GM pulled us all aside and said he had to tell us something. He proceeded to inform us that in 2 weeks, he wasn't going to be the GM anymore. He's being transferred to the new store opening up downtown. He paused after he said this, then rubbed his forehead and said very quietly, "I'm sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. You guys are like my family, and it's really hard to leave you." But they made the final decision. At this point, his eyes are welling up with tears, which he brushes away. His expression hardens, and he makes the best promise a boss can make. Now guys, if they bring someone in and they are just terrible to you, you come to me and you tell me. I will always be there for you. I will not let anyone treat you guys like crap. You can bet I'll bring in the big guns. He wipes his eyes again and then smiles. Now let's kick some butt, guys. Today's going to be crazy, but I believe in you all. You can handle it. Later that night, when I was on lobby duty, basically keeping the place clean and stocked, I intercepted him on his way back from the bathroom to ask about payday. He answered, then looked around the restaurant and said, I quote, "You're doing a great job, by the way. The restaurant's really clean." Then smiled really big and walked away. It's only my first week, and I know I'm going to freaking miss this guy. Edit. A lot of bosses don't seem to understand this, but really, just taking 5 seconds to tell your employee she or he is doing a great job will usually motivate them to do an even better job. Well, you know, OP, you're right. I worked at a job in college where my boss would never give a compliment at all, even when you went above and beyond what was expected of you, and it drove me insane. But I worked at another one where my boss treated us like family, and I fought tooth and nail to get that job every semester. So you are absolutely right. People quit bosses, not jobs. Of that, I am 100% convinced. A good boss can make a terrible job at least enjoyable, but a bad boss can take even the best job ever imaginable and ruin it for anyone. I'm so glad that you at least had him for that very brief time you did, and that he seems to understand what it means to be a good manager. Thank you so much for sharing the story, and I hope both you and your old boss are doing well now. So a guy made me cry at work today, but not in the way you might be thinking. I work at a store where the staff are known for being upbeat and friendly. When this gentleman walked up to the till, I asked, "How's your weekend going so far?" He paused and responded, "I'm sorry. Not good." He seemed genuinely upset, so I asked if there was anything I could do to make his day better. Again, he pauses and responds, "No, but just the fact that you asked is nice." So I carry on making small talk, and while he is paying, I go and grab one of my favorite products and tuck it into the bag for him, telling him that I hope it helps his weekend get a little better. As I'm telling him this, I see he starts to tear up. So I ask if he would like a hug, and he kind of nods. Turns out, he was from out of town and had a family tragedy to deal with here, but his wife was back home, and so he had no one here to give him a hug. I had a small queue, so I had to hold it together to ring someone else through, but then went into the back and cried a bunch for this guy. Retail sucks in a lot of ways, but today, I was reminded why retail can be so impactful. We are the folks that come face to face with people at their best, their worst, and often their most vulnerable. If this gentleman is on Reddit, I wish you nothing but the best in your future. Things will suck for a while, but day by day, they will suck a little less. Oh, OP, that is a sweet story, and it just goes to show how important it is to just pay attention to other people and how they're behaving. Sometimes all they need is just that small little hug, that small little interaction to validate their existence, and you went out of your way to do that. Thank you so much for just being a decent human being and for sharing this story. Worth the retail whores. I'm currently a cashier at a big brand grocery store that also sells toys, makeup, etc. But this story takes place back when I was still a parcel and bagger. So, around March, I believe? I was bagging as per usual and had just finished up my current customer and spewed out the normal retail spiel about having a good day. Our store chain puts a huge emphasis on interacting with customers and making it a good experience so they'll come back. So, I looked to see what would come down the belt next when I saw one tiny Transformers toy. It's one of the mystery packet ones where you don't know what you're getting till you open it. I'm a giant Transformers nerd, so immediately I looked up to see this mom and her kid. The little boy had what I now know is called a proloquo to go. B is for the boy and M will be me. Me. You like Transformers? B. Presses yes. Me. That's awesome. Who's your favorite? B. Presses Bumblebee and then presses the Autobot sigil to say Autobots. Now, I will admit I've got a few tattoos. Coincidentally, I had just gotten one done 3 days prior to this and taken the special wrap off as instructed. It's hidden by my uniform sleeve though. Without going into too much detail, it has the Autobot sigil in it, among other things. I heard what B said and then bent down to his level and lifted up my sleeve to show him the sigil. Me, I'm an Autobot too. Y'all, the smile that erupted on B's face, he got so excited he actually hugged me. That kid and his excitement made my entire face light up. The mom thanked me for speaking to her son instead of ignoring him and making his day. And I ended up with a huge goofy smile on my face for the rest of the day myself. It's moments like that that make working in retail worth it. You know what, OP? You're right. It is moments like that that make working in retail or any other job worth it. When you're able to help someone in that kind of a way, when you're able to put a smile on someone else's face. Thank you so much for sharing that wonderful story and for just going out of your way to make a little kid's day. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate you watching today. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, feel free to share and comment on this as well if you like. I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.